What would you like to say about where promoters are proven, but there is long gestation, huge equity, and a lot of over marketing?
As long as valuation is decent, I think gestation should not be a problem, because ultimately we are looking at investors who are willing to hold on a long term. See, equity is meant for investors who are willing to keep for some time, because equity, one cannot expect irrational gains on listing. We need to understand that the investors should get a reasonable upside over a period of time, and on a long term holding, equity will, vis-a-vis any other form of investment, will prove to be a better means of investment. So if you were to ask me, coming back to that question, as an entry point, I think if you look at companies like Coal India, which came recently, it brought in so many new investors into the primary market, and ultimately into the stock market. So these are companies which set the market tone. So investment into these companies and gains received from this investment in such companies, they invariably will lead to better spread of equity cult. If you remember, the markets were very bad post 2001 scam. Then it was the Maruti issue, the issue of Maruti Suzuki in 2003, which set the tone for the improvement in primary market till 2007, when the market again peaked, and after 2008 again the market subsided. But then good issues at good valuation, when they come and they provide good returns to the investors, they really enlarge the market, increase the number of investors who come into the market, and generally gives a good boost to the capital market.
When one should sell an IPO, what type of advice you suggest on that point?
See, selling an IPO is a mixed bag of tricks, I would say, because valuation is one thing, but at the same time, in a bad market, or where the sentiment is bad, even at any good valuation, investors would be very skeptical to invest in a new issue. So I think in a rising market, not necessarily a bull market, but a rising market where the sentiments are positive, where the economic outlook, macroeconomic as well as global economic outlook is reasonably good, at that point of time, bringing out IPO is suggested, rather than in a very bleak circumstances where the secondary market is falling, the outlook is bad, the economic indicators that you are getting are negative. In this kind of a scenario, opening an issue would be a gamble, even at good valuation. Even if there is a good promoters, good issue, good business model, the issue may not succeed. Then you will end up you'll end up spending a lot of money in marketing. So that is not advisable. For instance, in the present market scenario, the market is now seeing a bearish trend. Market is seeing the news coming from various sources, various quarters are very negative. In these circumstances, to open a IPO is a big challenge. Investors are in fact moving away from equity market. Volumes are low in the secondary market. Even the recent many issues have received just average response, you can say. So at this time, it is better to put on hold all the issues and wait for a better market.
Which IPOs 1 year old you may like to suggest are good point for entry?
I wouldn't be able to comment on a general basis, but I think one of the issues which we have handled, Sangvi Forging and Engineering Limited, which we did. In fact, we came out with the issue about 6 months back, and that issue is actually now the scrip is quoting very much below the issue price. I think it's quoting around 30 rupees, whereas the issue was made at around 85 rupees. We have also faced criticism on that pricing, but the fact remains that that company is fundamentally very sound, management is very sound, and the company has the good backing of its bankers, and the company's product, they are into non-auto forgings, which I foresee a huge demand in India, and the kind of project they are getting into, once it is completed, they will be one of the, you can say they will be the only manufacturers other than Bharat Forge in that particular segment of non-auto forging. So there is a huge potential in that particular company, and subject to their implementation of the project in time, which they are capable of, because the management we have very deeply studied the company, its management, its capabilities, promoters, sincerity, etc. And I am very hopeful that this company will implement the project in time and within the cost estimates that State Bank of India in its appraisal has done. And although there may be some impact of the interest costs which has risen, because of the interest rate rise in the last 1 year or so, there may be some impact, but then again they are taking certain steps to hedge those risks. So on the whole, I feel that this stock has been badly beaten because of, one, the market conditions, secondly the negative publicity attributed to all IPOs which have come recently. So I feel that this is a script which an investor can look at it and at least over a period of, I think, 1 to 2 years. The company's project is expected to be implemented sometime mid of next year. So once that happens, I see this